Hello and welcome to a brand new Football Manager 2020 Journeyman save. This is around the block, and I tell you what, I've not been this excited to start a save for quite some time now, so I hope you guys are as excited as I am, and if you are, I'd massively appreciate it if you could drop a like on today's video for me. Liking the video is the best thing you can do for it, especially right at the start of a series like this. So I'm going to set a target of 500 likes, and if we can reach that, that would be absolutely magnificent. So as you may have gathered from the spelling of block in the title and the thumbnail of today's video, this is a Journeyman save based around the former Eastern Bloc. We're going to be travelling around all the countries of that Eastern Bloc and exploring some new leagues, getting to know some new players, and sort of exploring that side of football that you don't tend to see on YouTube saves or on Twitch streams and things like that. So I thought it'd be quite nice to explore it and share it with you guys. Now, for those of you who aren't quite aware what the Eastern Bloc was or what it sort of represented, I'll put a map on the screen right now so you can sort of see what it looked like and which countries were part of it. But essentially, after World War II, there was a big ideological split between the East and the West. So countries of Western Europe allied with the United States of America, and then countries sort of near and around Russia, sort of allied with Russia because they were in that sphere of influence. And Winston Churchill put it right, or put it in the best term. He said there was an iron curtain down the middle of Europe, essentially, and there was a split between the Western countries and the Eastern countries. So we're going to be exploring Eastern Europe and the countries that used to be part of that Eastern Bloc. So we've got countries like Belarus, Bulgaria, Croatia, Czech Republic, Germany, Hungary, Poland, Romania, Russia, Serbia, Slovakia, Slovenia, and Ukraine. Now there is an asterisk next to a couple of these countries. Countries like Serbia, Slovakia, Slovenia. Now they used to be part of one country called Yugoslavia, but then that sort of split and all these different independent countries emerged out of that. Technically, it was part of the Eastern Bloc, but some historians would say it's not really part of the Eastern Bloc. For the purposes of this save file and, the series, I'm including them because it gives us more countries and leagues to go and visit, so I thought that'd be all right. Germany as well, asterisk next to them. Only Eastern Germany was part of the Eastern Bloc after Germany was split after World War II, so we can only manage sides from East Germany. Plenty of you in the comment section, when I've spoken about doing this save before, have said to me, can we do East German sides as well? So I thought, yep, that's fine, that's fair enough. So we can manage teams like Dynamo Dresden or RB Leipzig. They are big sides in East Germany, so potentially we could be going to them one day. But I suppose before we get carried away talking about managing Dresden or RB Leipzig, we've got to set our sights realistically, and we've got to go right down to the bottom and probably below the bottom really to get our managerial career started, because my manager, well, he's not brilliant, as you can see. We've got no coaching badges. As in real life, I've got no coaching badges in the game. My experience as Sunday League footballer, which actually is probably a little bit generous, really. So my attributes are absolutely terrible. I've got ones for everything, and I decided to pump all of my spare coaching attributes into attacking because I used to be a striker. Well, I say used to be a striker. Whenever I've played football, I've been a striker, so all my attacking attributes are there because I know how to put a ball in the back of the net, hopefully. There we go. And also my mental attribute, the spare ones I had there, I put into adaptability because that's going to be very important in trying to get us a job in other parts of the world, essentially. All I can speak is English. All my knowledge is English, so I can't even speak Croatian or Russian and things like that in game. So it's going to be very difficult to get a job off the bat, but once we start to get this adaptability going up by managing different countries, that will help us out massively. Now, the most important part of this screen, as you can see, is the reputation. I've barely got half a star of reputation. Now, what that means is we're not going to be getting a job at CSK Moscow or Zenit St. Petersburg or RB Leipzig right off the bat because I've got nowhere near enough reputation or attributes and ability and things like that. So realistically, clubs with more than one star of reputation, we are going to struggle to get a job at. So really, we've got to set our sights very, very low off the bat when we look at different clubs to potentially manage in. Now, when I was setting this game up, I used the most recent update of Football Manager. That's for the January transfer update. And actually, that might have been a bit of a mistake because January, when this is updated, not many clubs don't have a manager. Most manager positions are filled. If I'd gone for the save file or gone for the database from right at the start of Football Manager 2020, at the start of the season, there might actually be more managerial roles available to us right now. But I've gone for that anyway, so we are limited right now in what we potentially could be getting. We can't see reputation of clubs here. I think if we go on to job security page, we can see the reputation here. So we are looking at clubs that 1 star and below, essentially, that are available, with a few clubs that are very insecure that potentially we can keep an eye on should those come available. But right now, we are looking at 3 jobs potentially. A team called Baranovici. Again, pronunciation's the first club name. I'm getting this wrong, which is absolutely ridiculous. Baranovici. Baranovici, that can't be too difficult to say. It sounds a bit Italian, doesn't it? But they've not got a stadium. It looks like a building site, their stadium, I'm going to say, at the moment on this picture, which is interesting. But they have got okay finances, which is decent. And they are a professional club as well. So fair enough. They're from Belarus, by the way. I didn't mention that, did they? They're in Belarus. And their season seems to be underway. Now, what I have learnt is that the Belarusian leagues run very differently to the rest of Europe. They run from like April to November, whereas most leagues run from, July to May sort of thing. So we have actually joined the game in July. We've started it. We've joined right at the start of the season. I skipped pre-season because I feel like I wasn't going to get a job in pre-season. So I'd rather go and start this save file at the very start of a season, the first league games of a season. And then essentially, once managers start to get sacked, it's going to be easier for me to get a job. So I thought I'd just sort of skip some of the waiting around by starting right at the start of the Russian season or the Czech season and things like that. But obviously the Belarusian league is going right now, so we could potentially grab ourselves a job there. So Baranovici, we've looked at them. I like their building site of a stadium. I'm also a massive fan of their third kit being the exact same as the home kit as well. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to apply for this job, first of all. Apply for the job. There we go. That's the first one out the way. You'll love to see it. There's also 2 other clubs with 1-star reputation as well. So I think they're probably worth applying for. Leida are the first one. They look like they've actually got a completed stadium, so that's quite good to see. They are also a professional club. Their value's a little bit lower, and they've only got 2 kits. So that's already a downside there, but they've got slightly better training and youth facilities, I think, than the other clubs. So Leida will also apply for them. I think we'll say to them, please can we have the job? That'd be fantastic. And then the other one with 1 star is NFK. All right. Now, NFK Minsk have quite a nice stadium, I've got to say, looking at that. I like that stadium. They've only got 2 kits, but their value is 3 times higher than the other clubs, but they are only semi-professional, so they've got a trade-off there. Good okay finances, but adequate training facilities, which is interesting. So I tell you what, I'm going to apply for this job as well at NFK, and hopefully something will come up. The other jobs are more than 1 star, and I feel like I'm not going to get those. Naftan are a 1-star club who are very insecure with their manager right now, so that job might come up as well. But at the moment, it looks like Belarus could be the first destination for us. But as the season kicks off, we'll have to sort of just see what happens, what jobs become available to us. Hopefully, we'll grab something. Well, I'll tell you what, that was very, very quick. They received my application on the 15th of July, both Baranovsky, Leida and NFK. Leida, the next day at 8 o'clock in the morning, decided to reject me because, understandably, really, if you look at this, understandable why they rejected me. But Baranovsky and NFK have offered me an interview, which is pretty exciting. Before I attend the interview, though, I feel like I'm underdressed. 1 second. There we go. I've got a shirt on now. I feel slightly more dressed for the occasion. I'm still trying to struggle to say his name. Baranovsky. We'll go with that for now. Baranovsky. Attend the interview then. Hello, Tom. We've invited you along today to put forward our vision for the club and get to know you, basically. I'm glad you've given me the chance to talk to the club. Let's get down to business. Now, the first question is you can't speak the language, which I suppose is quite an obstacle, especially because it is. I'm not quite sure what they speak in Belarus, actually. I assume it's a variation of Russian or something like that, but as you can see from the logo, it's a very different alphabet to the English alphabet, so it's not an easy language to learn. But do I lie? Do I just lie and say it's an easy language to learn, I should be able to pick it up pretty quickly? Or do I be truthful and just go, I hope you can see past my lack of current language skills, but I think I'm going to go for the cheesy option. I think I'm going to go for football as something of a universal language. That feels like the most Mike Bassett answer to a question. So I'm going to go for football's a universal language. I'm going to say that. Can you explain why you appear to be in the running for a few jobs right now? I feel like that's a little bit harsh. I feel like that is harsh. I've applied for 3 jobs on my first day of the game, and they're already slating me for that. So I'm just merely considering my options. We parted company with our manager much sooner than anyone would have anticipated. Can you offer assurances we won't be in for a repeat of that? I mean, I can do, but if something better comes along 6 months down the line, then I'm going to take it. But what do I say? My intention is to commit to a long, successful career with the club. Do I just say that? Or do I maybe I just flip the question a little bit, try avoid answering it and just say I don't care about previous managers. I'm only focused on what I can bring to the table. I'm going to say that, just sort of deflect the question a little bit. The club is looking to hire a manager comfortable working with limited resources. Yeah, I'm going to say that I can do that. I mean, I'm used to doing that with other clubs, so I'm going to say that yes, I can do that. We're currently defying expectations and have done for much of the season. Whoa, could you keep the good times rolling? Now, why are you sacking your manager then? Why are you sacking your manager if the good times are rolling? That's what I'm interested in knowing. Can I even trust you guys, Baranovski? Can I even trust you, Mikhail? I feel like I can't, but what I'm going to say, I believe I have a reputation that sufficiently answers that question. That means no. That definitely means no if I say that. So, have a word with yourself. I'm offended you even asked that. Some of these answers are incredible. What I'm going to say is I've almost made a career out of pushing players beyond all expectations. I can keep the good times going, he says with fingers crossed under the table, so he doesn't actually mean it because it might not come true. Right, so the club culture is to sign players under the age of 23. I feel like I can do that. And also work within the wage budget. Again, I feel like I can do that. By the end of the season, though, they want me to avoid relegation and reach the second round of the Cup. We can try and do that. It all seems perfectly acceptable to me. We'll say that, but it might not happen. If hired, we'd expect you to avoid relegation. Is that possible, essentially? I'm going to say yes, and I can get a mid-table finish as well to try and boost some confidence, and hopefully they come to me and say, come on, have the job. Wage budget is £1,324. Is that sufficient? And again, to try and sort of boost me a little bit, I'm going to say that I can work with a smaller wage budget than that if needed. And I'm not going to ask for a new stadium because that would just ruin my chances. So that's the interview done with Baranovski, or Baranov. Again, I might just have to reject this club because I cannot pronounce the name properly. Baranovici, we'll go with that. NFK is much easier to say, so I feel like that they've already got that over the other club. So we'll do this interview as well, but I feel like it's going to be the exact same questions. Language one again, so I'll just say football's universal language. A few jobs, considering options. The ideal candidate would save the club from unexpectedly struggling against relegation. Okay, so they are in a bit of a relegation battle. They want me to save them. What I'm going to say is I consider myself a strong motivator and leader. There we go. Our long-term vision and club culture and things like that. So sign high reputation players. Are you looking to sign like Ronaldo or something like that? I'll see what I can do with that one. But they also want me to play counter-attacking football, which I think we'll need to if we are in a relegation battle. I don't think we're going to be on the front foot all the time. Work in the wage budget, that's fine. They want a mid-table finish and again a second round. Again, I'll say I'm happy with that. I'll say I'm happy with that. They want us to battle against relegation. They'd sack me if we got relegated. Can I do better than that? I'm going to say I feel we can do significantly better and expect to avoid the drop. Okay, we'll say that. 25k transfer budget. Again, I'm going to go for smaller than that to try and boost my stock a little bit. Because if I can say I work with a smaller budget, they might be more likely to hire me because I can save them money. The wage budget, though, is quite small, so I might just say I'm happy to work with that wage budget, because that is quite a small one. And I'm not going to ask for a new stadium or anything like that, so no more requests there. 2 interviews done in the first day, pretty much. Are we going to have rejections the next day? No rejections the next day, which is good. So I suppose what I'm going to do is just sort of keep slowly plodding through this until we start to get some job offers. The Baranovici job interview was unsuccessful. They've chosen this chap instead, who understandably looks an awful lot better as a manager than me. Although, what is this? Hang on a second here. So he's the manager that got sacked by looks of things, but is now the manager again. Is this like Glenn Tamplin? Is it the Glenn Tamplin of Belarus or something like that? That's bizarre, but I feel like I want to stay away from this club. I feel like they've got a bit of a love-hate relationship with their manager and owner, and they keep breaking up and coming back together again like a bit of a broken... It seems odd. I'm going to stay away from that, but hopefully they have every success. But as I was saying, though, I'm going to sort of just keep going through until more jobs come up, more interviews perhaps, and maybe even a job offer at some point as well. So another update for you. NFK have got back to me, and they've said, no thank you, lad, which, again, is kind of understandable. Their manager is... He's been at the other club. I'm going to say that he's been at the other club as well. So he's sort of been around Belarus a little while, and he is a much better manager than me as well with his attributes. This is going to be hard to get a club. Very hard to get a club. There's 2 managerial vacancies for us right now. Leida. Did we apply for Leida? We did, but they rejected us straight away, didn't they? They did, and they rejected us. The other one, though, is another Belarusian club, and it's... Kimmich. We'll say Kimmich because I'm not going to try and pronounce the second part of that name, unfortunately. But they actually look okay, don't they? They've got okay finances. They've got average youth facilities, below average training facilities, and their estimated value is pretty high compared to the other clubs. So I'll apply for this one. As my voice just sort of broke there. That was a bit weird. I'll apply for that one and hopefully they get back to me and offer me an interview. There's plenty of teams that are looking insecure with their managers. Most of them in Belarus as well, which seems to be... I feel like if I go to Belarus, I'll be sacked very quickly because everyone else seems to be getting sacked. But Kimmich have given me an interview. So let's attend this interview. I assume the language question comes up again. All right. Well, we want the job. We want a job. So I might change my answer and just go for it's an easy language to learn, even though it's definitely not. We are looking for a candidate capable to perform to competition expectations, something our last manager did not. Can I do that better? I'm confident of achieving every target set to me. Of course I'm going to say that, though. We value longevity at the club, and recent history shows we're prepared to give the right manager a long time to get it right. Are you prepared to give us long-term commitments? I mean, I feel like I've got to say the right things, haven't I? So I want to emulate the best long-term successful managers. I want to be as revered as they are, which sounds like a bit grand to say in an interview, but we'll go with that. The club is looking to hire a manager comfortable working within limited resources. Am I that manager? Yes, I am. We've been performing well below expectations and are on our worst run of the season. You love to see it, don't you? Can you get the team back on track? What do I say at this point then? What do I say? I'm a motivator. I'm going to say that. A happy squad is a winning squad. I can make the squad happy and motivate them. They also want to sign under 23 players, work within the wage budget, and finish in the top half. I'm going to say that seems perfectly acceptable to me. Can you guide them to a top half finish, or can I do better than that? Shall I say we can get for a playoff place? I'm going to say playoff places, because then they might think, oh, this guy's good, let's give him a job. Wage budget of £1,500 per week, is that sufficient? I'm happy with that wage budget. No new stadium or training facilities, please. I'm happy with everything. I feel like that interview went well. I feel like the interview with Kimmich went pretty well. So fingers crossed we get an offer there. That's what we're hoping for. Unfortunately, I'm not the leading candidate. This guy is, and he is... he looks a lot better than me, doesn't he? I've got to say. He speaks the language first and foremost, so that's already a massive advantage. As not many clubs are looking to sack their managers, and the ones that aren't. They're not in my reputation range, really, are they? I think this is going to be the biggest issue. In fact, what we should do actually, the Belarusian First League. We're going to go back in a second when it loads, when it comes off this loading screen, right? Let's go back over here. Belarusian First League. That's 71st in competition reputation. That might be the lowest out of all the leagues we've got loaded up, to be fair. No, actually saying that, the Bulgarian second division is below it. The Romanian second division is below it. So I feel like maybe we've got a chance actually with other leagues when they start to sack their managers. Because we have got those. Oh, they've offered me the job. Kimmich have offered me the job. All right. That's interesting. Okay, so sign players under the age of 23, work within the wage budget, finish in the top half, and second cup of the Belarusian Cup. Okay. Right. What I'm going to do at this moment in time is delay the decision, okay? I'm going to wait for other clubs to come back and see if they sack their managers. So we might have a few options on the table then. We might have a few options. But if nothing else comes up, a few clubs are looking very insecure though. So if they get sacked in the next week or so, that might be quite handy for us to get a job interview and maybe get another job. Some more clubs as well are sacking their managers. I mean, this club is called Tom, all right? And I can get behind that. However, they are in the Russian First Division with 2.5 stars reputation. We're not getting that job. Naftan have sacked their manager, and they're also in the same division with 1 star. Okay, I'm going to apply for this job as well. They've got a very big value, and they've got 3 kits, and they've got a pretty cool stand there as well. I like the seats on that stand, so I'm going to apply. Well, I'm not applying for this job. Why? Why can't I apply for that job? They just sacked their manager, didn't they? What's going on there? Oh, no, it is there. It's there. Right, Naftan. Apply. Apply for them. Please give me an interview. So again, I'm going to delay this for another week and see what happens with other things. And hopefully they've agreed to delay. That's very nice of them. Thank you for letting me delay. It's whilst they probably keep losing more games. But I just want the other interviews to see if I'll be taken on. You know, I want to have some options on the table. And it's worth it because Naftan have come back and offered me a job interview. All right, let's attend the interview, okay? I'm glad you gave me the chance to talk to the club. Again, the language thing, Again, we're going to say it's an easy language. I'm going to tell him exactly what he wants to hear in this interview. Can I explain why I'm in the running for a few jobs right now and considering my options? We'll say that. The club is looking for a candidate capable of performing to competition expectations. I'm capable of reaching every target that you set me. We parted company quicker than anyone could have, done. Can you offer me assurances that we won't be in for a repeat of that? It's my intention to commit to a long and successful career with the club. Again, fingers crossed under the table there a little bit. The club is looking to hire a manager comfortable working with limited resources. Yes, that's me, given the job. We're really looking for someone capable of taking this club to the next level. Can you make that a reality? Yes, I can, but I'm just to find the right answer to say that, okay? I've got enough about me as a manager to get that done, okay? I'm going to say that. Maybe not quite the right thing to say, but I've said it now. We would like to know when you intend to establish yourself as the club's manager. Are you able to take charge now, or do you need more time? I'm going to say right now, if you want me to. I don't think they're at the end of their season. That's what that kind of question implies, isn't it? But I don't think they're at the end of the season, so I'm happy to take charge immediately. I can't wait to get the job started. Right, they've got quite a few club culture things in place. Right, develop players using the club's youth system, nice. Or sign players under the age of 22 for the future, or play counter-attacking football. I say or, it means and. All of these need to be done, all right? Also, avoid a relegation battle and reach the third round of the cup and work with a wage budget. I can do that. It's perfectly fine. We want you to finish clear of the relegation battle. And I'm going to say I can finish top half. Just to really, really hit home that I'm a great manager. I can finish in the top half. The budget's fine. I'll work within that budget. That's fine. And I don't want a new stadium either. So there's the interview with Naftan done. Okay, and now we wait. Are we going to have 2 job offers on the table? Because that would be perfect if that was the situation going forward. Fingers crossed we get it. Fingers crossed it all works out. And they've approached me. They've approached me as the manager. Right. Now we've got some thinking to do. Is it going to be Naftan or Kimmich? That's what we need to know. Which one would you go for? Let me know in the comment section which club you'd go for. And because I'm such a nice guy, I'm going to make you wait. Join me tomorrow. And you'll find out Naftan or Kimmich. Which one's it going to be? Thank you ever so much for watching today. I hope you have enjoyed it. Of course, please do drop a like on the video. 500 likes and we'll get the next episode uploaded for you ASAP. I'll see you then. Have a great one. Goodbye.